Alright, it looks like we're live. So today we're cleaning up and rounding over some gears. So when they start out square, and they're a little rough coming off the CNC machine. That'll work. Yep, so this is 9mm Baltic birch plywood. So this has an inset and a disc goes down into it. So there's an inlay here. So we don't have to be really concerned about this surface here, but you know, anything that's sticking out. So what I did is just made a little jam chuck. So this is just a little waste piece here. Now these are going to go for another spin on the lathe once I have the shaft on them, so that will get touched up again. It's just, the cleaner they are to start with, the better. So because of the gears on the teeth, I tend not to use a skewer or gouge on the area. So that's why I'm using abrasion. definitely a big improvement. Hey, how's it going? Hi. Hey, T-Pick. Probably said that wrong. Welcome. So you can see all the tear out. Which isn't a big deal because everything gets rounded over. So I figured I'd get in here. We're working a half day today. Today's my partner's birthday, and she wants to have some hibachi, so we're gonna go do that. Making gears. These are actually going to be Top World drop spindles. Let me grab one. Let me show you what they look like. This is what they look like when they're done. So yeah, I am making gears, and then this is a sublimated disc. So that's what it looks like before the sublimation. So that's where the inlay comes into play. And then we have some plain ones here. They're slightly different. And they get laser engraved, so there'll be an image laser engraved on those. So I started making these, cutting these out by hand on a scroll saw. Then I moved to a laser engraver. now we're cutting them out on a CNC machine. Like I said earlier, this is 9mm Baltic birch. Morning, Alan. How's it going? Look, I'm doing something different. It's a first. We got our 50 grit chisel here. Oh yeah. So these are the ones that I cut out on the CNC machine yesterday. So the next step after this is a different one. But anyways, yeah, it would be laser engraving my business name on the bottom. It is a gear, but it's going to turn into a drop spindle. So this is a top whirl drop spindle, which just means the weight is on the top. There are low whirls where the weight's on the bottom. So, yeah. So yeah, it's inset, so that'll fit in there. never be used as a gear, unfortunately. Working on some whirls. These are gear-shaped whirls. I mean, these would make fine coasters as well. Wider, good for tractor tools. Hey Max, how's it going? Welcome in. Today we're forming some whirls. So when they first start out, they look like that. So we're rounding over the edges and then doing the initial sanding on them. Jay, how's it going? Welcome in. Let's flip this over, sand the bottom. So I do have a Fordham that I used to clean up the center, so like a Dremel, a rotary tool that'll come through after I turn them. Good luck at the doctor's appointment. Yeah, I'm only working a half day today anyways. It's a girlfriend's birthday, so we're gonna go out and get some hibachi later. So we went out for breakfast, so we started late. We do have shipping. We do daily shipping this close to the holidays. So at 1 p.m. we gotta ship. Alright, that's all of that size. Hey, how's it going, Jay? Welcome in. So now we're going to go to this one here. Just a little slit out on the bottom. Sand that out. cut these out on the CNC machine, I have tabs to hold this in place so it doesn't go flying off when it's being machined. And then I go back and then I cut the tabs off. And there was just a little more that needed to be taken off. Hello, Billy. How's it going? Welcome in. I'm actually just using some belt sanding. Gear-shaped whorls are made into drop spindles. So here's an example of one. So it's basically a gear on a stick with a hook on the top, and you use these to spin yarn. So that's what we're making today. Abdel, welcome in. Sorry, I was just delivering coffee. Right off the CNC machine. There's a little bit of tear out there. It's not too bad. So yeah, these gears, I started out cutting them by hand on a scroll saw. I know, it's like, hey guys, I'm a little deer. So the deer comments. So the reason for that is this wallpaper changes all the time, every day. But yeah, for some reason I just thought he sounded like that. I don't know. Hey guy, you wanna go fishing? Yesterday it was a capuchin monkey. Like the monkey from Friends, or like the monkey from Outbreak. Same monkey. Out there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to form this, round it over a little bit more. So do you think I should have gloves on? No. Gloves and equipment that spin or cut is generally a bad idea. So the glove could get caught and then you could get spun up in here. And this is only a wood lathe, but not the bestest idea. So this is a wood lathe, so it is belt driven. Where if it was a metal lathe, it would be gear driven. Metal lathes do not. This one I can grab it in the back and basically shut it off. I also do not wear rings. So this part here, we're making drop spindles. I would show you an example, though. There isn't. So, hey Bernie, how's it going? So it's going to end up looking like this, or similar. The ones we're doing now are flat on the top. So instead of having an image, you would have something laser engraved on it. So, yesterday I cut out a whole bunch of blanks on the CNC machine. Today we're rounding them over. I need to laser engrave my business name on the bottom. That'd be the next step. So I try to do the majority of my stuff as batch work. If I'm going to set up a piece of machinery to run, let's say, one board, which would be 12. Once you get it set up, you might as well run 4 or 5 boards. we're just making like this one part. It'll go on a shelf. So it just makes if somebody orders something special, I have the part. I can throw this in the laser, then glue down the shaft and turn it. So within a day, I can do a turnaround if really necessary. And then it's just waiting for the finish to dry on it. Basically just getting these blanks ready to go. I mean, there will still be some more sanding involved, especially after you laser sand those. So I cut these out with the same end mill. So I believe it was an upcut. So I'm not worried about all the little fraying and stuff because I know I'm going to be machining it. I could have switched bits halfway through. I'm still relatively new to the whole CNC machine thing. As far as the software goes, I bought a Shapeoko. So I'm using their software. So it's a carbide Create. That's what I'm using. It's not that dissimilar from like the laser engraver or 3D printing software. So I'm able to, create the files of things that I make, and it works. I'm just not totally confident with it yet, if that makes sense. I got big future plans for it. Now it's just kind of figuring out what end mill is good for what, and what speeds it can handle. Well, we're gonna have to order before March. We're gonna have to order more doweling for these as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was
Something to be aware of. Hey Zach, how's it going? Hello 2011. Nothing much. It's 11:30 a.m. and I got coffee, so I'm doing pretty good. So we're turning some whorls today. So yesterday we cut them out on the CNC machine, and today we're rounding them over. So that's what they look like to start. So we're rounding those edges over and just sanding them out. After this, I do have a few left. We'll go to the laser engraver and start laser engraving the business name on the bottom. Hello, 56. How's it going? So we're trying to get like this like 90% done right now. If there's any other imperfections, they'll be caught along the way. Hey man, how's it going? So when I was making these on a laser engraver, it'd be two pieces that it would glue together, so I'd have a 3mm and a 6mm piece. So the outside would be the same, I'd glue together, and that would give you that coring. But this is all one piece. Now, these are 6mm, and these are 9mm. So these are a little bit thinner. the end of the world. I should have done better. Pascott, boo. Yeah, I'll just come in with a rotary tool and clean that up later. No biggie. Yeah. And that will also help get more people in. But I do understand it is a lot of work. Well, the good news is I made these probably a couple months back. Been sitting on a shelf. So the ones I just made look a lot better. So. Hello, Anonymous. Welcome in. Hello, 7006. Welcome. So if you're just joining the stream, we are making gear-shaped whirls that are going to turn into drop spindles for spinning yarn. So I've been turning a lot of shafts online during live streams, so I thought today we could do something a little different. Governor. We got 5 more of these to go, and then we'll go laser engrave them. Okay. Blue 65. What kind of wood is this? I'm sorry, this is Baltic birch plywood. Sorry, I missed that. Wow. Yeah, Baltic birch. So yeah, these two here are from a much earlier batch. So the new one, the coring operation looks a lot nicer. Hey Vlad, welcome in. So we have been playing with the settings. So I have not had a lot of time to really play with the CNC machine. Once the holidays are over, things should lessen up a little bit. So yesterday I ran it for, about 4 or 5 hours, but I already had the files all ready to go. So let me catch that real quick. And this is the last one, and then we're going to jump over to the laser engraver. Which I don't think I've ever streamed on this channel before. Grab a phone stand. Grab the tripod. I have to set you down so you can check out the beautiful ceiling. So I'm just trying to get the phone on the stand, the phone holder on the tripod, and it's being a turd. Oh, the fun of live streaming. It's like working with kids and animals, I tell you. Alright, we should be good now. Try that for now. Finish off my extractor. All right. Hey, Dave, how's it going? We're just getting set up here. I'm just about done. Give me like a minute. Gotta grab an extension cord. I will find an outlet, swear to God. If I plug in here, I should be ready to go. Here we go. Just let me bring up the monitor so I can see the chat. There we go. All right, we're going to be using the F1. So now I'm just setting the focus. So I'm just going to line it up like that. Click process. Start. Then I'm going to use the foot pedal. And there we go. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm waiting for the yeah. Say you're using the rear camera without saying you're using the rear camera. Now, since we have a whole bunch that are all the same, if I hit that button on the side, it's going to show me where it's going to laser engrave. And then I can just tap with my foot twice. And what that does is repeats the job. So with this laser, there's some buttons on the side here that you can use to start the job, but this laser is so light that I'm kind of scared of hitting that big button to start it because it's kind of tippy. So I have a foot pedal. They also make just a button, so it plugs in the back. I think it's USB-C, and it's just like one little switch. Now I could set up a jig where that would set in, so I wouldn't have to use the tracing feature. But I'm not doing a bazillion of these all the time, so it just kind of makes sense to do it this way. So this laser itself has two different lasers in it. We are using the blue laser, the diode laser, and then there's also an IR laser in here for marking plastics, metals, that kind of stuff. But it's not very powerful, so. They did come out with one that just has the diode laser in it. And then they came out with one that's a lot more powerful and a lot bigger. So we also have a exhaust fan that is running outside. So that's the sound you're hearing. There's a fan in here as well. So there'll be a little fan, and then I've got an inline fan to take all the smoke outside. I do have the air purifier for this, but using it for like wood stuff, it gets dirty real quick, and the filters are very expensive. So I'll use the air purifier if I ever take this to a show, so I don't stink up the joint. But do I regret buying it? Yeah, a little bit. So I bought this laser with another laser as a big bundle. 2 different lasers, a bunch of stuff. And yeah, the filters, the air filters, I'm not real digging. I understand the point of them, but for my case use, it's not great. So yes, batch work is not exciting, but it saves you a lot of time in the long run. Yeah, so this operation takes 10 seconds. A little bit longer when you start dropping things on the floor. So what I like about this laser is that it is enclosed. So as long as this is shut, there's no risk of hurting your eyes or your pet's eyes or a child's eyes. Lasers and eyes don't mix. I mean, do I have glasses for it? I do. Now, the newer ones have cameras and conveyors and, well, you could get a conveyor for this, but they've got like built-in cameras so they can do placement. So if I put this on the conveyor, I could tell it where to laser engrave that and it might work. So this is the Galvo laser. So the laser is emitted from a lens on the top, straight down, and then inside before the lens there's two mirrors that move the beam around. So the beam is always coming from the center. So this type of laser is not good for cutting through material because you'll never get a true up and down. It won't be 90 degrees. The farther away you get from the center, the more of an angle it's at. So I look at this laser as incredible for marking, but I don't cut material with it. So this definitely shines on what it can do. I mean, if you're starting a small business, if you're making jewelry, that kind of stuff, you know, I make a lot of earrings on this thing, but the blanks are already cut out. So there's a few earring blanks, and then they sit in this jig, and then I can put images on the inside. Now you can see all this discoloring here. That's because all the exhaust is getting pulled that direction. Hey, honey. I just discovered, like, I did a round of the laser top whirls on the CNC machine out of the thinner material. And then I just did a whole batch on the thicker material. So we will have a lightweight and a medium weight. It wasn't intentional at the time, but I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, oh no, now we got more options. So I am still live streaming. What's that? All right. I'm gonna go grab some more material. I can do that right now. What is this? That's a nice one.
Isn't it? I was like, oh, this one. I bet this one's gonna really like that one, hopefully.
Oh darn, why didn't you send me something that's better than what I want? Alright, so we're going to jump out of this for a second. I've got do a top whirl now. Look at that frickin' walnut, that curly walnut. Oh, that's gorgeous. Set my focus. And then I do have the tab open here. Sorry. So we're using X-Tool Studio. So we want that to say walnut. And then it is 1.131. So I'm going to take those two and I'm going to group them together. And this one said 1.131, so we'll change the weight to 31. Come up to the top, 1.1. I'm going to grab both of these, come up here, and I'm going to vertically align them. There we go. Now if we come over here, I'm going to do a preview. Doesn't look too bad. What we will do is, though, we'll make it into a rectangle. So rather than doing the lettering, it's just going to make a rectangle. That looks good. Lower the hood. Now you can see how it's kind of a little bit wet and gooey. I've got a rag with some isopropyl alcohol on. We'll just wipe that off. And there we go. So we got the weight of the spindle, walnut, and good old Snyder written on the bottom there. That way they know how much the spindle weighs and what it's made out of. That walnut is gorgeous. There you go. You're welcome. Go back to the logo again. Just gonna set that piece of paper up top so I can set my focus. Like I said before, all the laser is being emitted from the center, so that's why those beams are in the center there. So. That looks a little bit big. So it's at 13.49. Let me write that down so I can put it back. And then we'll just see what it looks like at 10. pretty good. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where I can sit here where you'll have a good view and I'll be somewhat comfortable. I think a little further back would probably be easier. If you have any questions, let me know. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, people will see that and be like, oh, okay. But it's like, yeah, you know, it's a whole separate operation to do this. So it's just a way to, you know, permanently put, you know, the name on there. I used to write it on with paint markers for quite a few years, but eventually, you know, they might get worn off. Yep, so these are 9 millimeters thick, or 3/8 of an inch. And it's Baltic birch plywood. So these will be stained. My normal stains are gunstock, which is an orange color. Red mahogany, which is a deep brown color. And then I also do a golden pecan, which is like a light, very light tan color. Those are my 3 major stains I use. If somebody wants something special, we'll do colored pigments as well. Yeah, so today we're laser engraving right now. We're just doing a half day today because it's the girlfriend's birthday. So we're going to start packaging in about probably a half hour and call it a day. So these are, this is what I was making prior to these. So you can see there's a little bit different in the shape, but they're very similar. But with the laser engraving, you get that deep dark edge that you don't get. So I'm phasing the laser engraved ones out, but like everything else, there's exceptions. So I'll never, officially get rid of them. There's certain ones that need to be made out of the other stuff. So yeah, this laser has a removable bottom plate. So I've made jigs that fit into the plates. So depending on what I'm doing, I'll just replace the plates. So, like this plate here is for making a Turkish spindle, where I laser engrave images on the side. The Turkish spindles get set on this pin, and then I have two different sizes, so I have a pin that you can remove. This one is for top whirls. There's a pin that automatically centers it. I showed this one for earrings. This one for teeny tiny top whirls. Now we have some thinner ones here, so we're going to have to refocus the laser. So if the laser was out of focus, it wouldn't give you a nice crisp line. It'll kind of fade out on you. So these that are blank on the front will get things laser engraved on the top. Like Oklahoma spins yarn. So I have all 50 states. And I'll do other things. You know, I can put whatever, you know, people want on them within reason. We try not to be too controversial because my name's on the bottom of them. We are a quiet bunch today, huh? That's all right. There we go. All right. Refocus. There we go. So let's open up a new job here. This tripod has seen better days. All right. File. Open project. Do a mandala. All right, so it shows the outside of the spindle, the center of the spindle, and then the mandala. So we're actually ignoring the outside score and the middle. I'm just telling it to make a rectangle. So it's just putting a rectangle down there. We can also make it do an outline. So it'll just draw the mandala on the top. I'll leave the hood up a little bit so you can watch it run. So I am going to be putting on my glasses. I like to see. Even tomorrow I'd like to see. Lower this so we can get some fume extraction. If it gets too smoky, we'll shut it. So. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, we're making top whirl spindles now. So we're in laser engraving some images on the top. Yeah, so this is going to take 2 minutes and 8 seconds total. This is the X-Tool F1. I also have the S1. It can engrave on a bunch of different materials. This one has a diode laser and an IR laser, so it can also engrave on metals and plastics. The IR laser isn't super powerful, so you can mark on some metals, but it's going to take a super long time. They make much more powerful ones for that. And you can actually get this model without the IR laser, with just the blue laser, and that's less expensive. So, I also have a 40-watt CO2 laser. So, like clear acrylic, diode lasers, they don't see it, the wavelength, it goes right through, where a CO2 laser will be able to cut it. So that image there was a vector. So what it did was, it turned the laser on and went from point A to point B, and then to point C. So it just burned it on a steady line. So let's load up something different that'll be a raster, where it's going to work more like a printer. So we'll close that out. Let's see, what would be a good example of rastering? That's not going to take forever. Well, it's going to take some... Hey, Coco, how's it going? So we'll do this Siamese cat. I think it's going to take like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So we're going to be making that cat. Yeah, it's going to take 16 minutes to do this one. So let me lower my tripod just a little bit. Too much bird's eye view, I think. There's a reason for this. Here we go. Hello, Scotland. Bring that down. Just keep some of the fumes out of here. So there is a fan blowing that way. Normally I run this shut. So we'll make a cat. Alright. So I just got to click start. Put my safety glasses on, and away we go. So it's just moving back and forth, doing dots. Well, you're certainly able to have your own opinion. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing. I mean, I do it for a living, so I don't think it's a waste of time or resources. But you're sure entitled to your own opinion. What I like to do is go into random live things and just start ripping on people. That makes me feel more like a man. You know, rather than just swiping if you're not interested. You gotta put your 2 cents worth in. Hey, You know, if this is what you have to do to show off your fancy bow tie, you be you know? That's fine. So when I'm running a job like this, I would typically, you know, Mike, I bet it is. I bet it is. Yeah, that's kind of the idea of it. You know, I'm actually just, you know, making stuff. So you can see the exhaust is pulling it back. Oh yeah. We're doing great. Yeah. What's up? Oh, yeah, it's still, I can still see it. Yeah, so we are running the laser open, so don't look over here. Avert your eyes, birthday girl. Oh, avert your eye. Yep. Right. Oh, we're having a lovely day. We're actually working a half day today. So Mike says you have a little 5 watt and you still haven't dug into the idea of multiple passes. So you're capable of doing more than just basic etch. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I have to look. Is this a 10 watt? You only use it for images or as guidelines for making templates. Yeah. So yeah, this laser here, the F1, I use basically for etching. You know, I'm not cutting with it. Not that it can't cut, but since it's a galvo laser, you know, it just emits the beam from one point, so it can't cut 90 degrees. But it's one of the big aluminum extrusion jobs with 250 by 250 millimeters, right? Yeah, this little guy is good for what it does. Yeah, with the gantry, yeah. So I've got the F1 here. And then I also have the S1, which is the bigger 40 watt. And then I've got a... So we got this little guy here, and then we got the 12 by 20. That's the CO2 laser. And then if you come in here, we got the bigger S1. So, yeah. Yeah. They did not ask me when they named the model, so. Nice. So there's going to be an overcast on this, which will wipe away some isopropyl alcohol. So yeah, something like this you would turn on and go do something else. Just keep an eye on it. Oh, I should have here my exhaust setup. So yeah, the white one coming in here goes to an inline fan that comes up into this, where I have another inline fan over there that takes it and puts it out the side of the building. So this is for the CO2 laser, so I could shut it off when I'm not working with it. So just a bunch of just masking tape, you know. So I did 3D design a little adapter to go in there. So yeah, I definitely don't want this smoke in the atmosphere around here. The cat slowly appears. So it looks a little weird at that angle, especially, I'll take the isopropyl and wipe it off, and then when I make it, I do a real quick sand over the top of it. Make something similar for both your laser and your 3D printers. More fun materials, right? I primarily, you know, I 3D print a lot of PLA and TPU. You know, I don't really get into a lot of exotics. I do have two X1 carbons, so I can play with some more complicated materials, engineering materials. But hey, Kiki, how's it going? So we got about another 7 minutes left on this. Guns. You could etch on guns if you really wanted to. A lot of PTG. The soda bottle plastic. I kind of wish it was. Without the touchiness. Yeah. So here's an example of the IR laser. So this is aluminum that has a coating on. So it just blew the coating off. Get over that. So, don't really have any. I don't have it running right now, but hey, check it out. Yeah, you can do different power levels to get different colors. colors out of it. So there you go. So here's my Ender 3 V2 S1. Oh yeah, decorate everything. So yeah, that's my last Ender 3 I have in the shop. And then I keep this guy around, this little King Rune. This little cantilever printer just, it works. It's not fancy, it's not fast, but it just works. You were given 3 of them? Nice. Then A1 Mini, so these are for spinning wheels. When you're done spinning, you could take these and put your working yarn on it to keep them from getting twisted up. You gave one to your nephew? Awesome. Yep. Yeah, if you want to start your own business, go ahead. Yep. So, yeah. You had an Anycubic Cobra? Nice. Yeah, I started out with Ultimaker 2s way back in the day. So I did a Kickstarter. I don't. Yeah, I've never used one. Right. You know, I don't consider myself having like a printing farm, you know. The stuff that I make, you know, I just go up to the machine and, you know, hit go on the machine. Yeah, like I said, I got 5 printers right now. I hear you. That's nice of them. You know, you're seeing a lot of Ender 3s on like Facebook Marketplace, and people are asking like $100 for them. I was like, huh, I remember when these were $100. You know, a lot of people are just going to the newer style printers because they're faster. Now, like the Ender 3, the S1 I have, you know, I've got like $400 stuck into that. You know, I have an all metal hot end on it. I have a higher temperature heater in it. You know, that was the S1 was a big improvement. You know, it was the first one they came out with that had the direct drive on it. Where you didn't have to buy an aftermarket direct drive. It's got, you know, the BL Touch on it, so it does the bed leveling. It had less tinkering than a lot of the earlier ones. I have not flashed. I have not flashed that printer probably 2 or 3 years. I could probably make it go a lot faster than it does right now, but I use that printer to make things that I'm not in a hurry to get made. Does that make sense? It's got a little spot welder from Aldi Express. Nice. That's pretty awesome. With the Z. Yeah. I think my Z axis is one motor, but they're tied together on the top. There's a tooth belt on the top, so both Z's work together. All right, let's see how we did. So, right now, that does not look like much. Let's give her a quick cleaning. Isopropyl alcohol. It looks like we're gonna have to give it a quick sanding. Let me do that. I'll be back in a second. So after a quick little sanding, there we go. Oh, there's nothing wrong with doing that or putting a laser module on it. No, nah, this mouse actually has denim on the top. Yeah, it's just a cheap mouse. Yeah. So the raster definitely takes a lot longer than the vector images, but yeah, it's pretty good. All right, guys. Well, I have to go package, and then we are gonna get some lunch and call it a day. So thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Hopefully it wasn't too boring at the laser, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day, guys.